Welcome to Vanity Fair, a world where wealth counts for everything and truth counts for nothing. A world in the past, but full of parallels with today.
Welcome to London.
I think it's always interesting to see a film that's set 200 years ago, but you still understand the characters. I feel comforted that my problems aren't singular and that other people experience the things that I do. And it's a wonderfully modern story. I mean, it really holds up over time.
In Vanity Fair, Reese Witherspoon stars as Becky Sharp, one of literature's most intriguing heroines. It's the timeless story of a woman determined to climb the social ladder, armed with only a sharp wit and strong will to help her on her way.
Miss Sharp, life can be very unpredictable.
Oh, I do hope so, Miss Green.
Reese Witherspoon really wanted to play Becky Sharp, and who wouldn't? I mean, you know, she's the greatest female character, I think, written in literature.
Becky Sharp is just this amazing woman who's figured out a way to negotiate her way through society. Though she has no social standing, she has no money. All she has is herself, basically, her body, her look, her intelligence, and her capabilities.
In many respects, you can look at Madonna, and Madonna is Becky Sharp. A girl who sets out, she's got a goal. It is a goal to move up in society. And there's a contemporary story there.
She's a survivor. Now, what's she going to do? In those days, you know, she couldn't get a career, could she? Women didn't have them. She's got to get a husband. I think she's very likable, very go-y girl. If she was my daughter, I'd be very proud of her.
Can you tell Sir Pitt Crawley that Miss Sharp has arrived? And bring in my trunk, if you please.
Miss Sharp.
Yes, Miss Rebecca Sharp. Governess to your master's children. Now, will you kindly let me pass?
Certainly. As for telling Sir Pitt, there's no need.
Why not?
You just told him yourself.
The combination of ruthless social ambition mixed with a certain degree of vulnerability makes the role of Becky Sharp a complex one to portray.
It's easy to really dislike Becky, you know, because she's so manipulative and scheming and so on. So there has to be this kind of irresistibility to the actress playing Becky in order to make sure that the audience is with us all the way on the rise and fall of Becky Sharp.
She works and struggles and strives to get to the place she wants to be in life, and she starts from nothing and gets to a place, and at what cost is really what the story is about. But I found her really inspiring.
In every society that ever was, there are mavericks, there are adventurers who take on the rules and they bend them and they make that society work for them, even if they haven't necessarily got the natural advantages to make it easy. And there is something in that we like. And of course, what is particularly attractive about Vanity Fair is it's a woman who is doing that.
Men need war like the soil needs turning. I'll enjoy it.
Well, surely not going over there in your condition.
Of course I'm going. Why should the men have all the fun? And didn't Eleanor of Aquitaine ride into battle pregnant and bare-breasted?
By gad, if there's a woman alive who could do the same, it's you.
She's really remarkable, you know. She's somebody who is professional to a fault, to a T. Her accent is immaculate. She's prepared for every scene that she comes to. You know, she really, she's got a lot on her plate on this movie. You know, she's in nearly every single scene that there is. You can't fault her. She's been magnificent.
I didn't know who Reese was, and I thought she was English. You know, because first of all, I saw her in character, and then she came over and started hello and started talking to me, and she was an American. I thought, God, who is this woman? She's amazing. She's really good.
By heaven. Miss Becky, we don't deserve you.
In creating the character of Becky Sharp in Vanity Fair, the writer William Thackeray inspired Margaret Mitchell's character Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. And in this film version, director Mira Nair found the story's themes were just as relevant today.
That's the reason I'm making the film. I mean, Vanity Fair, for me, the crux of it, and Thackeray's sort of essential and I think central question, which is which of us are happy in this life, and which of us are content and satisfied, and which of us dream of dreams, and when we achieve them, are we happy then? In a way, the world that he created was a cinema verite of its day. It was completely accurate, full of allusions of the things that were happening in England at that time. But the issue is completely timeless. It's completely universal.
The time may be different, the characters may dress differently, but ultimately the foibles and the desires and the yearnings of human beings do not change. And what Thackeray was brilliant at was shining a light, sometimes critical light, on people as social animals, an examination of society based on wealth and the lack of wealth, and that's still the way it is today.
I've watched you in the lists. I wish you luck. It will not be easy. Of course, it's the women who keep the doors of society closed. They do not like outsiders to discover that there's nothing behind them. They will bully you and snub you and patronize you. But that's what you want, I suppose.
It is. Mira's interpretation of the material is very interesting and very contemporary. I don't think, she had us use very more modern language, more modern dialect, so I don't think people would be put off by that in any way. And it's just interesting to show you that people in 1815 were having sort of similar problems that we're having now.
This is where the modern day magazine, its name's taken from this. This was the social hubbub of fashion. We were pop stars, Puff Daddy would be perfect in Vanity Fair. He's meant for it, That is sort of like a men's show of style and a sense of one's own achievement.
I can't tell you how much Becky has been longing to meet you.
I want to be quite sure you're good enough for dear Amelia.
And who's to decide? You?
William Thackeray himself was born in India, and his novel was set at a time when influences from the East were becoming all the rage in English society. So Mira Nair, the Indian-born director of Mississippi Masala and Monsoon Wedding, was able to bring her unique vision to Thackeray's story by weaving in themes from her own background.
One thing that I don't want to do with Vanity Fair is to make it sort of a stately period drama. This was the time in English society where they first felt the flush of wealth from the colonies, and there was an enormous kind of interaction going on from India, from China, from all the places the English had become the colonists, And so in terms of the art, the costumes, the shawls, the paintings even, I want to reflect that time.
When you look at that period, it was an extravagant period. Britain was hugely caught up with India. The trade between the two countries brought England a vast amount of wealth. And she has obviously extracted those elements and heightened them to bring some colour and life and vibrancy.
There is a great degree of sort of irreverence and compassion at the same time, with which I approach things, because I'm not here to make a museum piece. It doesn't interest me or I think anybody, but I'm here to make the characters sort of sing and come to life.
Although most of the film was shot around England, one of the key locations was India itself, as the filmmakers traveled to Mira's home country for one of the most lavish scenes in the story.
India was wonderful. We got to shoot in Rajasthan in February, so the weather was really nice, not too hot. It's beautiful. It's the countryside out there. It's desert and country, so the people were dressed in very traditional country clothing, which very bright colors. It was a really moving experience for me. It was fun seeing Mira in her element, directing Indian people and in her native language. It really showed me how multifaceted she is and how capable she is.
Becky, be careful. Those curries can burn. So, Miss Sharp, how do you find your first taste of India?
Delicious.
Seeing a mirror in our film is always an exciting experience because I think visually, I don't think you can even imagine how elaborate it can become. And I was shocked when I saw the film. I said, was I in that movie? I don't remember that looking so beautiful. I think it's got a lot of wonderful elements to it. It's a lot of romance, a lot of human struggle. I think a lot of people will identify with the idea that Becky sort of came from nothing and struggling to get to a better place and make a better life for herself and for her child.
All of us are in this game, aren't we, of aspiring for more and dreaming for more, and do we, when we achieve that, or if we ever do, are we then content? What is that question, you know? And what is contentment? What is aspiration? What is the vanity of life? Whichever way I can come to that point where I can make somebody in the audience really feel the character's journey, for me that's the most critical thing. That is truth.
You're taking favors from a tiger, Becky.
Tell him I'm innocent.
You? Innocent?
I surrender. I am your prisoner.
You have only to ask, and I shall release you.
There never was a woman who could manage like you, Becky Sharp.